Hello and welcome back to Just Another Football Podcast. Just after the final whistle and Messi lifting the trophy to conclude the debate. I mean, in my mind, it was concluded years ago.
Yeah.
The greatest player of all time. And Argentina win the World Cup. Fergal's with me. This is like just an immediate reaction pod. We plan on having another podcast for just like World Cup reflections in general and kind of building up to the football starting again. I mean, the what's it called?
Good.
Boxing Day.
Premier League getting back.
Yeah, Boxing Day is just around the corner. So, but let's focus on the here and now and the World Cup and Messi winning it and Argentina winning it. Lino Scaloni just being the calmest man alive. Did he see his reactions after the goals throughout the World Cup?
I saw Di Maria's. I was worried for Di Maria's health.
Yeah.
At one stage, the man, you wonder how he's been a footballer that's won lots of finals before, because he was an absolute mess. It's like, how did he put that goal away in the first place? Because like it looks like maybe it's like as soon as he's off the pitch, it just like all came to him, or he started crying after the goal that he scored.
Yeah.
Like, but the man is just an emotional wreck. And like it was probably a horrible game to be an emotional wreck in, because it was one of the best finals ever, wasn't it? Or the best.
I mean, before this final, I think the best final I'd ever seen was this year's MLS Cup final, and I genuinely, I'm really aware of recency bias, and I really tried to get away from it. Istanbul maybe is up there, but I think
there'll be a couple of other ones that are up there. But in terms of World Cups, I haven't seen a better World Cup.
Yeah, this is definitely the greatest World Cup final I can think of. Obviously, that I've watched, this is the best. I can't think of a story that was like that. Like Argentina won it in '86 with a 3-2 scoreline. It was 2-0, went to 3-3, and then Argentina won 3-2. Went to 2-2, then Argentina won 3-2. But I can't think of a narrative like that when Messi just like has to win it for the narrative of, oh, he's the GOAT now. And for Argentina to lead 2-0, like so comfortably. That was the most comfortable game they'd played all tournament. And then for Mbappe to do that, to score that goal, the second goal, for him to score this at that moment in a World Cup final to bring it to 2-2, this dude is going to be one of the greatest players ever. Ever.
He's already chasing down Messi's legacy with a hat-trick in a final he lost. He's already got the World Cup. Like, he just needs to move away from PSG.
I agree.
And like to
Liverpool,
a more romantic club, I would say.
Yeah.
And people will take him into his hearts, like people have taken Messi into their hearts. Like, I think he just needs a better PR around him, and then just be continuing to do what he's doing, because he is incredible. Mbappe.
Get him over there. If you're watching on YouTube, you know exactly what I'm pointing out. Get him to Liverpool. Get an Mbappe Haaland thing going, right?
Yeah.
Have them balance it out for the next 5 years in the Premier League. He'll play another couple World Cups. He will, like, if everything goes right and if nothing horrible happens, he will break the goal scoring record. He's 4 goals away now.
Yeah.
From the all-time World Cup record in goal scoring.
Yeah.
Which is crazy in and of itself. He's 23. He'll be 27. He will be at his actual peak in 2026 in the States and Canada and Mexico. It's insane. It's just, I'm so glad I got to watch it. Like, it's just an honor, man. Like, this is a game,
I nearly went out to watch it, like in a pub. I'm so glad I didn't. I was on my own for a good part of it, and then my mate came over. But I was so glad just to be able to like just watch it like right in front of the telly.
Yeah.
And no distractions, just like enjoy it.
Yeah, I thought of going into town as well to watch it, but it started at 10 a.m. So first of all, it's way too early to take an hour's train ride to get into town and watch it with people, and that it's you don't, as good as it is. I don't think I'd have gotten the full experience of watching it. And you and I went on James Alcott's stream as well, which was lovely.
Yeah, we did do that.
So that was great. As his stream was fantastic. It was just
And,
a lovely time.
on
Just a
that,
lovely time.
I'll repeat it for anybody that didn't hear me say it
Go on.
on his stream. I am related to Alexis McAllister.
You are, yeah. Tell that story here. Go on.
So my father's mother, my grandmother, is from or was from Cushendall, which is up in north of Antrim in the north of Ireland.
Yeah.
Right near Giant's Causeway, if anybody knows that sort of area.
Yeah.
And her maiden name was McAllister.
Aha.
It's already aligning.
Yes.
And the story goes is that Alexis's ancestor was a man from Cushendall named McAllister.
Okay.
Alex McAllister. And apparently Alexis is named after him.
Ah.
And he moved from Cushendall down to Dublin and then emigrated to Argentina around in the 1850s. And then Alexis is a descendant of him.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, so we're similar in age, you know, we're just distant, but yeah, I mean he does look Scottish / Irish. Like there's a lot of Scottish connections up in that part of the world as well. They almost speak with the Scottish accent up North Antrim, but yeah, it's hilarious that we found that out recently. It was on the news like that there was one that this town was claiming it's a relation to Alexis McAllister, and the way his name is spelled the Irish way as well.
That's interesting. So your cousin just won the World Cup.
Very distant cousin, yeah. Just won the World Cup.
A cousin is a cousin, Fergal.
And interestingly, I was born in I'll call them the Malvinas, or aka the Falklands. It's interesting that I was born there and.
Oh, you were born in the Falklands. I always forget about that. I feel like you might have told me before. I always forget this. It's fascinating.
Yeah. So, but the Argentines would call them Las Malvinas. So it'd be a big contentious point.
Yeah.
If you called them the Falklands in Argentina.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's my little connection to this. So shout out to cousin Alexis. I can't wait to see it at Christmas.
Congratulations, cousin.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. All right, let's try to get through the game. Is it chronologically? Chronologically. Yeah, there you go. English is hard. Let's try to get through it and kind of see what happened. I have the momentum. This is not a game for statistics and no, tell the story through.
It really isn't.
But there's something to be said about if you go into SofaScore and see this momentum bar.
Oh yeah. Oh right. Yeah, that would be interesting to see.
The first half is genuinely all Argentina. It has. I can't think of a more comfortable performance all World Cup apart from Spain Costa Rica. It was that simple. They came in. I think France didn't prepare right for what Argentina would have done because the perception would have been, Argentina sit back a bit and try to counter you. But the intensity of the press from Argentina was insane.
They done really well.
Insane. It was France.
They just looked up for it. And like France just looked like they were trying to maybe like sort of ease into the game, and they just like the first half just ran away from them. Like they just couldn't get a foothold. Like Argentina were the first ones to really get control of the game, and they just didn't let it up. And France didn't really do much to try and disrupt that. And like it then led to like a double substitution at the 40th minute. Giroud and Dembele both came off.
It was crazy.
Giroud I thought was maybe a wee bit unlucky. Dembele was poor.
Yeah.
I think Giroud maybe just like wasn't in the game, but it wasn't necessarily his fault. But I think Giroud felt more like of a tactical decision to try and like stretch them and go in behind with Mbappe rather than trying to sort of hit Giroud. But yeah, it was like Argentina were brilliant in the first half. The penalty I thought was a penalty. I thought I always feel like that sort of penalty that was given. I always feel like you have to have played football to understand that why that's definitely a penalty.
It is
because
I thought it was
like you if you've ever been running with the ball at high speed and someone's just tapped your heel, that exact thing happens. Your one foot goes into the back of the other, and you fall over. You can't. It's you don't need much contact to make that happen if it's done in that way. And so for me, it was a definite penalty. Di Maria, you kind of forget about a player like that. There's so many players like that had phenomenal careers, great players, and like you kind of just like, especially if they're not playing the Premier League or anything like that, you kind of just forget how good they are. Di Maria is like it's incredible. He's put in a world class performance. What age is he?
He's past 30. He's definitely past 30. I feel like he's 33 now. Let me fact check this. Di Maria age, but one of this generation's greats for sure.
Yeah, like I remember like being a kid signing him on FIFA. Like
yeah,
so he's been around such a long time, such a good pro, and like he's an incredible performance to win the penalty, set up Messi first, and then the second penalty, second goal, sorry, what a move that was.
Oh yeah,
free flowing football. You're mentioning about Upamecano, like Upamecano. Any time in this tournament, you always have one chance of turning him. Like Kane was doing really well against him when England played. But yeah, like Upamecano he's too eager to come out. It reminds me of Rudiger under Lampard in that way, like like too eager to step up and just gets turned if the player's too quick.
Yeah, I felt his decision making was really off. Especially like I don't know why Konate didn't start. The moment I saw Konate on the bench,
he was ill.
He came into the game. He was fine.
Yeah, but like he mightn't have been. They might have deemed him fit enough to start.
Maybe.
It seems like in Deschamps' head, he likes Upamecano anyway.
Yeah.
And so it maybe it was like 50-50 as to who he picks.
Yeah.
And Konate was ill. So
I don't know. Maybe he just didn't train enough before the final. I don't know. But Di Maria is 34, by the way, now. But a few things about like the decision making in lineup selection, because and like the substitutions. That first half was fascinating in that way, in terms of those two substitutions happening. I guess that's why we're not the experts, because like consensus was, he panicked. He's trying to change stuff too quickly. Like there was 5 minutes before at a time. Just regather. I felt like they never kind of went into the mental state of, okay, let's regain our composure here and figure things out. What that means is making things compact, keeping the ball, and trying to play the game by your own terms by keeping possession for a little bit. And I know the intensity of Argentina's press was amazing, and they didn't give them a lot of time on the ball. But France's midfield at the same time was so incredibly congested. Disjointed. Because Rabiot wouldn't drop in to connect with Tchouaméni. Griezmann wouldn't drop in to connect with Tchouaméni. Mbappe was so far isolated. Like, we didn't see Mbappe in the first half. Barely seen the commentators mention his name. Griezmann, I think, had something like 20-ish touches in the first half altogether. And it was just
considering he's been running games before this. Like he would, up until the final, he was gonna be like my player of the tournament.
Yeah, true, very true.
Like he was just it was between Kane and Griezmann in my head.
It's exactly what he did there.
But I thought Griezmann would be the one, but he was non-existent in the final because of how good the Argentina midfield is, and my cousin was, and you know.
You're latching on to the cousin. When did you find out about your cousin?
Just yesterday, because it was reported and
it was on
it was on the local news there.
Amazing.
About about him having relations to Cushion Doll, and then my dad texted me and was like, "Oh, so and so, one of his cousins said about it." So.
Amazing. You'll latch on to that that's your claim
Oh,
to fame now.
I can't wait. I can't wait to meet him and try and convince him in broken Spanish that
He speaks English. He'll
I'm
be
related.
fine. He'll be fine. He does. He does. I think I watched an interview maybe a week ago. It's amazing, by the way, how much it mattered for the Argentina players, for Messi in particular, to win the World Cup. Messi scores the penalty, and then Di Maria gets the second just 13 minutes later. And he said it was a really, really good move. And Upamecano's decision-making goes off there. Then the subs happen. Randall, Colomboani, and Marcus Thuram. Now, we need to talk about Randall, because I thought he had an amazing game. Do you agree?
Yeah,
He was. It's hard to do.
He was really, really good. I only know him from Football Manager because I had bought him for Saint Etienne, and he was an okay player for me then. He was sort of like a Divock Origi type for me.
Yeah.
But maybe Football Manager got him wrong because he looks a great player. Really unlucky at the end of the game with the chance he had, but no, he made a difference. And I thought whenever that double change happened, I kind of I liked it. I liked that how proactive it was, and it's kind of with a manager like Deschamps, I can't imagine him panicking. So the fact that he made that decision, I kind of believe that he knew what he was doing. He was he's seen something that's this isn't gonna work. I know it's not gonna work if I leave it alone, so I'm gonna change it. And the changes he made, even Thuram don't. Well, it was Thuram that
Marcus
got
Thuram.
the assist. He got the assist, didn't?
I'm
pretty sure he did.
Yeah, he did for the second goal. Yeah,
For
it
the
was
second
him.
goal, a lovely way to assist like that. He couldn't have just tapped that perfectly, any perfectly. It came down perfectly for a nice volley,
Yeah.
So
what a finish as well, God.
But yeah, it's just they were coasting along in the second half, Argentina, and France had come into it more, and but it was it just seemed like they just cannot do that thing where they retreat. They're not that team.
Yeah.
They need to be just keep possession, control it, but they just seem to want to shithouse it. It's just in their identity to want to sit in and shithouse the game, but it's not this team. They can't really do it I felt like the more and also it's if you're gonna do that, I don't think you can have Messi on the pitch. Controversially, I don't, because he doesn't track back enough. He doesn't do enough running. When you're trying to defend like that, you need every player running and defending.
Yeah.
And you could also maybe do with a more of a target man figure, which they don't have. But if you're trying to do that sort of thing, Messi just isn't the guy to have on the pitch. But I wouldn't want to take Messi off either.
I felt like the best way that they could have dealt with those last 10 minutes before the goals went in was to just try to stay in control of the ball and give Messi as many touches as possible, because he's the most reliable player on the team.
Saying that,
in possession.
he gave away the ball. He gave away the ball a couple of times.
That is
one
true.
Of them led the equalizing goal.
That is true. You took the words out of my mouth. That was significant. That was significant. And I don't think people at the time were talking about it enough.
Nobody wants to say it.
I
don't know, because it was really on Messi. He just was completely oblivious to Coleman coming in, and Coleman just picked his pocket and very easily and started off that move.
Coleman was unreal when he came on for Griezmann.
Yeah,
he was Griezmann getting subbed off was a bit that really reduces quality here. But Coleman was unreal.
I think it hurt them in the penalties, not having someone like
Griezmann
on the pitch. But then they wouldn't have got the penalties if Coleman wasn't on the pitch, probably.
Yeah, so possibly, because Coleman won the penalty, didn't he? I feel like he did.
He won
Or
the...
no, it was. I think he went round. No, that was a free kick. I'm thinking of. The penalty was a handball. But there was a moment where Coman just like skins the defender, and then wins a penalty on the edge of.
What was the
area
first
on the right.
penalty though?
The first. So there was a penalty for Mbappe in the 80th. Ooh, I can't remember now.
To happen.
There's so much to happen. But one of them was.
I can't remember
One of them was Tagliafico. I feel like just like playing goalkeeper.
Both of them weren't handballs, were they? One of them was foul. It was the one in extra time was handball. Oh, it was Otamendi.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's who it was. Yeah, Otamendi, terrible bit of defending.
Yeah. Unlike him this World Cup, to be fair.
And he took him down in the box, and then Mbappe put that away. Yeah, that's what it was.
80th and 81st minute, Kylian Mbappe scoring 2 goals. He's just the
that. But that goal, so like Coman wins it back, and then I think it goes into Rabiot, and Rabiot just lofts it into Mbappe. Lovely nod down and lovely 1-2. The right back was very poor. Like I think it's like just like tired at that stage.
Yeah.
But like not like you need to be sticking to Mbappe like glue there. Like for Mbappe to like have the time to like size up a volley like that without any pressure on him. And it was like, you know, I feel like it wasn't the quickest move because it was like a lofted ball. The defender should have had enough time to like be switched on and to get back in the position there.
But at that stage, they're just so tired, aren't they? Like we don't think about that enough. It's like, yes,
it was Molina who I was like, I think has probably been the best right back. He's up there. Him and Hakimi are probably the two.
I think Hakimi is a bit undisputed in that position for me. But I'll take it.
I was gonna go Molina because he's just stood out for me, but I can't pick him now after that. So
there you go. Congrats, Hakimi. It'll be interesting to see the best 11 of the World Cup because there's so many options. I feel like I
was struggling for a left back. But we'll get into that.
We'll park it. I think we'll park it for next episode. Our best 11, and maybe the FIFA best 11 would have been picked, and then we can compare and contrast, and we'll have differences, of course, because there's just so many really outstanding players. Even Enzo Fernandez could put him next to Amrabat, but if
I wasn't sure about him winning Young Player of the Tournament.
Who would he be? Who do you
I was trying to think of somebody else. But I was like, he's been good, but is he dead? What is the cutoff age? Do you know for that?
I think 23. I feel like
23,
maybe 21. I don't know.
20, yeah, right.
Not more than 23, of course. Unlike the FA that give the Young Player of the Year to 24-year-olds.
I think Ireland. There was one year Ireland barely had any like young players. I think it might have went to like a 25-year-old.
Wow. Technically born born in whatever time it is that makes him 24 at the time. Oh God.
I can't remember what way they done it, but I remember there was one year it was like someone like barely deserved it. Got young player.
I wonder what that young player of the year would have thought of it as a 25-year-old.
I can't remember exactly the specifics of it, but I know like. I always feel like with those awards at the end, they have to give it to they always feel like they give it to the people that are there, like, so that they can present it to somebody. Whereas like, and that kind of cheapens it because it's not like sometimes they're not always like the best player getting the awards. Like, and Martinez should have had that second trophy taken off him after doing that celebration. Did you see that with Martinez when he got the Golden Glove?
I did.
Man, like the shithousery stuff. Like we're skipping on, but we'll come back to the penalties and stuff.
Yes.
But like he done unbelievable in the penalties. He had his moment. He done a bit of shithouse in the penalties, which I can respect. You know, like it was good gamesmanship. I thought he should have got booked for that. I thought the ref actually probably could have given out a couple more bookings. He was really good, the ref.
Yeah, it was.
But like I thought in that when you're throwing away a ball, like that's like a yellow straight away. But he just gave him a talking to. But it's a small thing. But anyway, But he had his moment, and then his wee dance to the camera where he's like shuffling his shoulders,
Yeah.
and then
I love that.
you're like,
Actually.
you've won the World Cup, you're the best goalkeeper in the tournament, and then he goes and pretends like the gloves is his member. Like it was just like, and like Macron and all the dignitaries are right behind
Emir
him.
of Qatar.
Yeah, and it's like have some class, Emmy. Come on, and on the BBC commentary, they were like, "Oh, don't do that. Oh, come on, Emmy. Oh, everybody's a bit like, oh, you've just ruined it now. Yeah, you would. Everybody was going for you there, but you've just soured it. Like it was a bit ridiculous. That
I don't know. It's not great because like a lot of like really young people would have been watching. Like this is the moment they'll remember forever in football.
and he's like,
the
thing is, he's in Argentina. He's icon. It's probably him and Messi. I would have thought that are the two heroes of this thing, because the amount of penalty saves he's made, and
yeah,
like he's a huge player. Like, so for him to be doing that as like one of the biggest role models in that team, it's just like, it's like, God forbid the celebrations that are going to come out of youth football now in the next week.
It's gonna be that
in Argentina. Like, yeah. But hopefully that they'll have forgotten about that. But in fairness, were we talking about the penalty shootout? Or is there anything else in the actual match you wanted to mention?
I mean, the fact that Kylian Mbappe scored a hat trick, even though it's two penalties, but to have frankly the balls to step up.
3 penalties in a match is incredible.
To score 3 in a match, but it like in game, like in open play before the penalty shootout, to score 2 penalties. First, when you're down and out, and you have to score this. If you don't, it's probably over. And then in the 118th minute, it's just it's another level of composure.
But like statistically, isn't like the average penalty taken ratio is like, it's like about 1 in 3 are missed.
Not 1 in 3 exactly. I think it's 76%. Score.
So, it's a bit higher.
But
so if he had another one, he would have missed that one.
Yeah, I guess. But the composure, like, don't forget what's at stake here. Like, that's all penalties of 75%.
Yeah,
but
he was
not in a World Cup final.
Yeah, really, really good. And the other thing that popped in my head was the chance right at the hand. That, how do you say the guy's name?
Colomani. Yeah, Colomani. Yeah,
I used to call him Randall in my head whenever I was managing on Football Manager.
Randall.
Randall's like, I think of like Recess. Like, wasn't there like the wee nerdy kid in the cartoon Recess? He was called Randall. Anyway, yeah, he had an unbelievable chance, and Martinez with an incredible save at that point.
You know what? Sorry. This is if not the greatest save ever.
It's really up there. Like,
it's up there.
It's like, and again, it was actually Otamendi that like he like misjudged the ball coming in to clear it, stepped out, it went over his head.
Yeah,
fell to Colomani, and he it was a great strike. You couldn't really say that he done much wrong with the way he hit that. And
I thought so.
Martinez just an incredible stretch to block it and to save his team. And absolutely. Yeah, he does deserve the Golden Glove after that.
Yeah,
and then it came to penalties.
Oh, the penalty shootout.
As soon as it came to penalties, I was pretty confident Argentina because of Martinez, and also I was thinking about the players that are on the pitch for France. And I was like, there's an awful lot of young lads on the pitch in the attacking areas.
Very true.
And then you're dependent on players that I don't quite rate. Kingsley Coman being one of them, even though he done well beforehand, but it was him that missed his penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then Tchouaméni, just that wee bit younger, and probably his biggest pressure moment. I don't think he's had.
Oh,
he's just moved to
the biggest pressure moment for Coman, Tchouaméni, and Mbappe. Yeah, he hasn't played like Champions League finals yet, but even if he had, like, will there ever be a bigger pressure moment than that? World Cup final penalty shootout? Like, there's It's very rare.
And then the
happen.
mind games of Martinez, like I definitely think that had an effect on him. Like the chucking the ball away, like just making him wait that wee bit longer.
Yeah.
Like he didn't even get it on target. And yeah, and then who? Your man Many done well to slot his away. Messi, I'm delighted he's now doing the technique that I think is the best, that only the best can do, which is the same as Yaya Toure and Eden Hazard, where you watch the goalkeeper the whole way, and then you slot it either way.
Yeah.
I thought like he put so little on the ball though. I thought, and it was really close to Lloris. But thankfully, Lloris is shit.
I thought Lloris did well actually in terms of where his momentum is going, because he stepped one side and he was prepared for either possibility, and that's why he was able to dive. But like the dive is so funnily short, like it's so funny how short it is.
Yeah,
I don't know why why didn't he reach it? It's weird.
Yeah,
Just jumped late.
And then Dybala, who came on pretty much especially for the penalties, he slots his away.
I was really scared of Dybala.
Yeah.
I say scared because I really wanted Argentina to win.
Yeah.
I was really scared because that was like one of those subs for the penalty shootout. Like, why? I don't.
The only thing is though, he got a good amount of touches on the ball. Like
that was crucial
because he came on at 90 minutes and there's 3 minutes out of time, and I think Argentina had a couple of counter attacks.
Yeah.
I even forgot after the Martinez save, they went down the other end, and Lautaro Martinez, like, I at least get that on target anyway.
Yeah.
Back to the times, but yeah, Dybala puts his away.
Yeah.
And so it was Messi. Who were the other ones? Messi,
Dybala, Paredes, and Montiel.
Paredes, and Montiel.
I thought Montiel would miss. See, before the shootout, you talk about your predictions there and being confident Argentina would win. I was not. There was a group text like between me and the co-workers and my co-workers. I was like, Messi misses, Mbappe scores, France win, because because of Mbappe's composure, and because there's way less pressure on France because they're already world champions.
Yeah, I was thinking that I was like, the one I was worried about most is Messi, because you're just like, he doesn't deserve that, but his penalties is the weakest part of his game.
True.
But I think it looks like he's got that new technique. I don't know why he didn't do it before. Why nobody told him to do it before? But if you're good enough, if you're that good of a player, you can do that technique, and you basically won't miss a penalty, because it's really sort of foolproof. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, and then that was that. He won.
He won.
Montiel, very cool. I wasn't too sure when he was stepping up, that because I was like,
neither.
He was struggling to put in a cross, and I was like, is this guy the most technical? But he didn't need to be too technical. He sent Lloris the wrong way and just made sure it was on target.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then,
wonderful, man. Everyone was in tears after. Montiel's celebrations matter to me, Fergal. And Montiel's celebration was very telling. Just like taking off the t-shirt and sobbing, absolutely crying. And then immediately after on Twitter, I was scrolling through reactions and stuff. Di Maria, I encourage anyone to read this, and I will straight after the recording. Apparently, he'd written an article for the Players Tribune about like his journey to the World Cup.
Of course.
And my God, like the quotes that I've read on there beforehand were chilling. You have no idea. To me, football is about the World Cup, and everything else that leads up to it is stuff that leads up to it. It doesn't really matter. The World Cup is the tournament. Like this should be the goal, is to win the World Cup. That's football. This is football. It's the World Cup. And if Messi hadn't won the World Cup, he would have done, I don't want to say the irrelevant stuff, but the way less relevant stuff.
Especially as if he had gotten to 2 finals
and lost them both. Yeah.
Especially this one, if they had lost it after being 2-0 down, like there's just this lingering thing over his head, the what ifs it's like. But now it's a lovely just full stop to a career. Like there's just like, you can put a full stop at the end of GOAT now. It's just definitive.
It's done. I mean, Pele is definitely, in terms of what he achieved in a time where the sport was a lot more difficult.
I don't think we can talk about it.
He was a lot younger.
We weren't there. I can respect. I'm never going to disagree with somebody that much if someone lived through that and they're like, Pele's the best or Maradona's the best.
Yeah.
I like Maradona's just fascinating person. He was a fascinating person, and the whole documentary about him makes me it comes across likable in almost a sad way and at times as well. But Messi for me is just he's after this. I'm actually so happy for him. I don't think I'd be this happy for him because he's done nothing for Ireland, and
well, he won the World Cup with somebody that is Irish, and he's but no, he is the greatest player in the world to me. I've never been happier for a rich man. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. For a man that's endorsed Saudi Arabia, I've never
never been happier. But no, and I just want to this is the best opportunity to say this because this conversation happens all the time about whether the World Cup is the most valuable trophy anymore and whether the Champions League has overtaken it. Shut up. Honestly, just don't try to start the conversation because it's non-existent. The World Cup is the greatest trophy in the world.
The Nations League, on the other hand, I think we're getting there with the Nations League.
We're getting there. But no, seriously, this was the greatest game, the greatest tournament ever, and it was an absolute honor to just be alive to witness it. It was is very good. It was very cool.
A lot of my specific predictions about teams went wrong, but I think I got the sort of how the World Cup was going to go, quite the big picture of the World Cup. I think I got it pretty spot on.
What did he say beforehand?
I said I think footballing wise, this is going to be one of the best tournaments.
Yeah. Okay.
I also said
portion of it, but not for the other half.
I also said I think the fan experience was going to be good, and I haven't heard anything. And then I also said after the first podcast we done on the World Cup, I said there won't be much talk about any of the issues past this week once the first round of games is over, and we haven't. But that's because all the talking was there's been years of talk beforehand, so everybody is aware of what the issues are, and we and Ali were talking about it before, and we kind of have different opinions on this, but I didn't like the trophy presentation.
Oh yeah, we talked about this before the tournament, right? Let me just respond to.
So what I'll just say what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't like the fact they gave him this shawl to a robe to put on him, mainly because it's sort of it block. Well, I'll go on. You expect what does the robe mean? I have a feeling there'll be a few people that have the same sort of thinking as I did. Me and my mate had the same thought about it.
Yeah.
But what is the whole deal with that?
Yeah.
Anyway?
So I don't talk about this in terms of a place of absolute knowledge, but I am from the Middle East and have been to Saudi Arabia a lot of times. So I kind of understand the culture, and Arab countries, for example, Morocco was being supported by all 22 Arab countries, and there's that. We are a closer group culturally to each other than I think any other group of people, but
for such a wide amount of countries,
is a wide range of countries, geographically, but also distance wise and everything, and for a number of countries to be this close together. But so that's kind of where it's coming from for me. I thought it was a good creative touch, and I know that the intention, at least partly, would have been, let's make this about us. And I don't blame them for that.
What is the robe, though? You haven't said what is.
I'm getting to that. The robe is something that's worn, the gold, sleeve cuff and collar and stuff. That's real gold, I would have thought. And that is like something that the higher class of people wear, or the ruling class of people in Qatar would have worn. So to my mind, when they gave him that, it was like, we are honoring the captain of the winning team with a piece of our own way of showing respect. And, you know, as one of the kings of the game ever in all of sports as well, I thought that was like a moment of, okay, this is something we, like, the emirs and the kings and just the rural class of people wear often. So that is where the gesture is coming from. So that's a way of us showing respect and congratulating Lionel Messi in the trophy lift. At the same time, though, I agree that it would be annoying because you surely want
I'll
the captain.
put my point of view on it. So
Yeah.
I came on and I said that, and Ali said that to me, and I appreciate that more. I said to I think a better, a classier way of doing it, it would have been to like do that after the fact.
Yeah.
I'd be like, congratulations, Messi. Here's this present on behalf of Qatar, whatever. Please have this robe that means a lot to us.
Yeah.
But the way it was done, I've no doubt in my mind that it was to put Qatar front and center again.
Yeah.
Like I don't like, as much as it's a nice gesture, it is about putting like an image of Qatar, a symbol of Qatar in an iconic photo. And I don't, if it had been like, I don't know, a crown or like something he could have worn at his wrist, or like, but the fact that like it covers his jersey a bit is the bit that winds me up the most, because I want to see that photo of him lifting the World Cup in the iconic light blue and white.
That's the part I understand.
And it's not about Qatar. Like, no matter like how respectful or nice of a gesture it isn't about that. It shouldn't be covered. It's about him and his team and his country lifting that World Cup and having their moment. And to have like something sort of cover it up slightly, I didn't appreciate it at all. And also then on top of that, so there's Infantino and the is it the Emir you call him?
Yeah, the Emir of Qatar. Yeah,
the Emir. So they've them, and they just won't piss off. They're clinging to him.
That was the part that got
Guy
on my
Lineker
nerves.
said a funny joke. He hadn't been marked that closely all night, like. And like,
nice.
They just were like clinging on to him, trying to get as much like photos of them together, congratulating him, and like they were nearly like edging into the bloody photo, like, and it was just like,
and you can see Messi's body language is like, okay,
yeah, he's so eager, like, yeah, and like you could see him like trying, like, them explain to him to put on this robe and everything, and it just like the whole thing was just a bit long-winded.
Yeah,
but the moment was great though, that he lifted the trophy. But like, I just wish I had been just like him in his Argentina kit. Like, it's something small, but like that photo like is iconic. That will go down in history, and like to sort of like force your way into that through a symbol like that. I'm just like, I like, if it wasn't, maybe it was done in a different way. I probably have preconceived ideas about Qatar and what they're doing and the whole sports washing thing about this World Cup, and I think that's why doing that gesture, it just feels like another level of the sports washing to me. And there's just like it's just, they're just trying to force their way into an iconic photo in my head. That's what I took from it. But I appreciate it's a nice gesture. But if you're gonna do that, you could do that after the fact.
No, I agree.
It would actually mean more.
After the fact would have been the better move, to be honest. But regardless.
And also, on another note, Macron was just a joke. Macron was there. I think Macron gave the team talk after the game. You know what I mean? Like, I think he said, "You sit down, Didier. I'll take this." He was there. I don't know what he was saying to Mbappe. Like, what does Macron say to Mbappe? Like, just like,
yeah,
it's like,
Macron,
it's just odd that as well.
Macron, like,
he's also trying to do his own sort of propaganda with the team and all, and yeah, no, it's just the whole thing. Just can politics, like that type of politics, like people trying to like take stuff from football to help themselves, just piss off.
Yeah, Macron also like kind of goes to the locker rooms after important wins and stuff, and
I know he's done it before, but it was like whenever he's there, like like having a word and arm around Mbappe. It's like, come on, man, like just leave it.
Didn't Macron convince Mbappe to stay at PSG? I feel like he might have.
He's done loads of stuff, like the whole like. I think like the reason he's there is like because they're really close with Qatar. Like he helped set up the PSG, being bought by Qatar and BN Sport as well. And like,
he's a PSG fan, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So it's definitely part of it that we can't shrug off. But regardless, what a final though, right?
Yeah, I shouldn't end on a bad note. Like it was one of the best finals ever. And yeah, like just so like Messi's he's the best. He is the best.
This will be one of the moments I like talked about to my grandkids. Like my dad has always talked to me about 82 and 86 and the Brazil team of 82 and Maradona in 86 and the Italian team of 82 and stuff like that. I think
who won 82? Was that Brazil or was that
Italy? I think because Brazil were unreal, and then Brazil were unreal. Like that was probably the best football they'd ever played in a World Cup. Right. And then Italy won like 1-0 one game, and then eliminated them. Then went on to win it. But I think for me, this moment is gonna be probably the one I talk to, to my offsprings the most. And definitely. it's very meaningful. Sport is my life, and this is probably the most significant moment in that. So it's just an amazing day. I'm just really happy. I'm just having a good time, Fergal. Just having a good time.
I like it. Was just thoroughly enjoyable. And like now that Argentina have won it, I'm kind of glad that they threw it away a bit as well. Because it was a brilliant game. Like it was like what I was really annoyed at the time, but now I'm like, you can look back in hindsight that they've won it and go, just added to the spectacle of it all. Like just a genuine pleasure to watch that game. It
Absolutely,
was brilliant. So
absolutely.
Well done to all the players involved. Like you put on one hell of a show there. Like and like the France will be back. They're a young side, and they're gonna. It'd be interesting if Deschamps stays on. There's talk of Zidane coming in, but I've heard equally that Deschamps will stay on. Like I don't see why he wouldn't.
See, we could talk about this more in the like after the fact pod that we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Don't know what it really the fallout of the World Cup, whatever it is. But I feel like in hindsight, you can say France against England were lucky against Morocco. Morocco had them for a really long time. We were all over them. And then this final, they were behind and then just scored 2 minutes in 2 minutes of madness, 2 goals to force extra time. So I have my own questions about the Deschamps staying, to be honest. Maybe like it's the end of a cycle, and then there's this really, they have the widest pool of talent in the world, but let's have someone else that can kind of come in with new ideas that can really fit that group.
Or is Zidane's idea is going to be too different though? If he is,
I don't know.
It feels like just like the same sort of manager, just with a bit more just a bit more like I don't know.
Yeah.
Sparkle to his name.
But at the same time, though, when you think that Deschamps leaving would have him like leaving a bit of a high because like he's taken this France side to back-to-back World Cup finals, winning one. And really like close to winning in another final, so I feel like it would be a good time to leave, to be honest, from a legacy standpoint. But let's see. Brilliant to talk to you after the fact. Thanks so much for everyone that watched us. We're really sorry that the World Cup coverage was only 4 episodes.
It's just been like we're just a bit busy this time.
When we talk next episode, sorry to go off. When we talk about the next episode about like the World Cup in general, spoiler alert, this is gonna be like second to bottom or bottom most favorite World Cup. This is my favorite game ever that we just watched, but the World Cup in general is probably like least favorite to second least favorite, just because it was like a super busy time, so that was unlucky. But we'll be back sometime. We plan on being back some point this week to kind of discuss the World Cup in general, hand out some awards with the boys. Hopefully, George and Harry will be on with us as well. And same to you, Fergal. And yeah, we can do like team of the tournament, player of the tournament, alternative award, short king of the World Cup. That would be interesting. But I think the answer is there.
We might have to do other
votes.
than Messi, short king of the World Cup.
Yeah, short king of the World Cup, not named Lionel Messi. Yeah. But yeah, thanks so much, everyone. Absolute pleasure. Thanks to James Alcott. Let's throw a thanks there too. This is very fun.
Did you plug our podcast on that? Because I didn't. I forgot to do it.
Fortunately not.
We're such amateurs. Yeah. James, if it was the other way around, James would be all over it. He'd be on it. We need to step our plugging game up.
We need to. But no. Thanks, Fergal. Thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoy the World Cup come down, and look forward to the football coming back again. Damn. So it's coming back already. But we'll see you again this week, hopefully. This is the plan, unless anything goes wrong. We'll see you next time.
Which you could do.
We never know with this podcast. All right. But no, that's the plan. We'll be back to hand out some World Cup awards. The next time we'll be on, we'll do it anyway. But cheers, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.